Alright, welcome everyone. This is my first ever Hard Enduro. This was the Bad Medicine Hard Enduro held up at Wildwood Raceway about a week ago. I've done a lot of GNCCs before, a lot of local hare scrambles, sprint enduros. Ride some Hard Enduro stuff around home, but never tried competing in one. My hat's off to these guys who go out and do this all the time, because it is an incredible amount of energy that it takes. I've not been this winded and this tired probably since I played football in August in high school. It literally, within a few minutes, I was breathing hard. It didn't help that I adjusted my recluse before I went and didn't have a chance to go break it in, so immediately I get down the hill here, and when I go to jump over this log, the clutch catches and stalls. I spend a couple minutes here messing with it, trying to get it to start, trying to find neutral. Eventually end up lifting the bike over top of the log, which didn't help my energy and my wind. It also didn't help that it was mid-90s, crazy dusty, and no wind whatsoever. Oh, that was just painful to watch.
Well, my clutch is adjusted a little too sticky.
This video will be more comical for those that are watching. There's a lot of me falling over, getting stuck, getting winded, having to take a break. It's just very different than what I was used to riding. These piles were straight up and down, and they were hard. They didn't give an inch. This is quite possibly the slowest I've ever fallen in my life. I just tipped over, I started going down, I couldn't get my foot out. I really couldn't help but laugh when that happened. When you see the pros come through this section and they're standing up, just hopping over these logs almost effortlessly, it's just a true testament to how good they are, how much practice they've put into this type of riding. Sadly, at this point, I'm 4 minutes into the race, and pretty sure if you listen closely, you can hear me out of breath, especially by the way I'm going over the logs. you can hear me kind of cough a little bit. I was trying to get a drink of water, and for whatever reason, my hands-free pack was not working. I use this all the time in my hair scrambles. It goes around my waist. Tube comes up my back in the front of my helmet. Usually works very well. It keeps my weight for the water down around my waist, and for whatever reason it would not work no matter how much I messed with it. So I also couldn't get a drink of water this whole first moto. That didn't help me at all either. There's a lot of off-camber stuff in both these races, this morning and in the afternoon race. I think there were only a couple log crossings that were actually level. Everything else was off-camber. Thought I was going to tip over there. It's hard to see from the camera angle there, but that was actually very off camber, and that small log was enough. It wanted to kick the front tire out and make you go down the hill even further. Jeff here was trying to point me to go up around the bank, around those rocks, and I went too far up around, gassed it, and then run into the other bank. In my mind, I knew what he wanted me to do, but sadly I was unable to make it look like that. Trying to get turned around here without having to go back down and do it all over again. Finally I get my front end pointed up the hill and get going again. This made me feel like a brand new rider all over again. Stopped there for just a second to see if I could get my water pack to work again, and it still wouldn't work for me. Luckily here in a few minutes I run across some people that I know who had some water with them. I'm able to get a drink. This actually looked more intimidating going down and back up than what it actually was. I was mostly just trying to get down there and turned around so you didn't mess up. Thank goodness Warren and Garrett were there and had some water. They poured over me, and I got something to drink. Since my water pack wasn't working, there wasn't any sense keeping it on, so I unbuckled it and unhooked it from my helmet. Gave it to Garrett. It's painful to watch. I'm watching it, telling myself, I know, why weren't you leaning up the hill? I don't have a good answer for that. But I ended up down there in the briars. Top of the bike, down the hill. So now I gotta pick it up. Get even more tired. It's almost textbook for everything you could possibly not want to do. I did. And about the time I go to try to get on the upper side of the bike, it loses balance and it starts to fall up the hill, and 2 weeks to even stop it. And
no.
There it goes. Worst part is now the front end's down here in the trees and I need to roll it backwards. However, backwards is up the hill. So I pull and tug and everything for a few minutes, and I finally get it loose from that tree and get pointed up the hill. Not exactly sure why I had so much trouble with this course. Place that we ride at home, actually where Steve Thaxton I was riding with, where he trains, has stuff that's just as hard, if not even harder than this that we ride all the time, and I don't end up quite like this. So I don't know if it was just the heat, the idea that it was competition mode, or what, but it thoroughly kicked my butt. This guy was pointing to me to go up the hill, and For some reason, I'm thinking the course goes down where he's at,
That's why you're
and it doesn't.
up there.
It's
Shit. My bad.
up above. So I told him, sorry, it's my bad. I should have stayed up where he told me to. If I'd have had just a little more momentum, I'd have rolled over top of that last tire instead of coming to rest right in the middle of it. But I honestly felt like I was going to keep on going over top of them. At least I didn't fall. My foot pegs kept getting caught on that tire. Now the one on the right. So I leaned the bike over and then it got caught on the one on the left again. That's probably the most painful looking couple miles I'd ever done. Now this is the afternoon race. Some of the same stuff we did in the morning, but we're lined up with our classes now. That's A row in front of us. I'm on the 45 row.
A little better than the morning.
B class is behind us. I believe this was a 2-lap, 2-hour time limit race. From the morning until now, I had about an hour and a half to sit in the air conditioning in the truck, get some fluids, eat something. Was feeling better, but I was definitely weak at this point. I was going to try to last as long as I possibly could anyway.
Good luck, bud. Yeah, we do.
I decided this time I was going to try to take it easy, conserve all the energy that I possibly could. Try not to fight it any more than I had to. Actually, I believe the Pro Lemon also took off on our road. That little dip right there is the ditch that Quinn Winslow ended up hitting the following day on Sunday. Had a pretty bad wreck. It was kind of underneath the grass. You couldn't see it, and you were hitting it at an angle. Glad he ended up okay. This beginning was a lot of riding through dust. It was hard to see. So I purposefully stayed back where I could see a little bit better. I did enjoy the afternoon race more than the morning. There was a lot more hill climb, rocks, creek bed, tight terrain. I just wish I had a little more energy. I enjoyed it a lot more. quite surprised when I got down here. Right in front of me there, that's Steve Thaxton, who's an exceptional hard enduro rider. Took off with me in my row, and somehow or another, I wasn't terribly far behind him at that point. However, that's the last time I see him for the rest of the weekend. He was long gone after that point. This time going over the tires and all was a little bit different because it was quite a bit more crowded. The last thing I needed to do was charge right up through trying to pass everybody and fall over and have to pick my bike up again. I had decided I was going to try to make it past each obstacle using as little energy as necessary, and hopefully the slow and pragmatic way would be better than trying to blitz over things and fall and make mistakes. And for the most part, it was a better idea. Now you would think coming down through here, I would remember from the beginning of the last race that we make a left right there at that tree with the orange sign on it. But instead I followed everybody out this road who quickly realized that, nope, we went the wrong way.
What?
For a second I thought I was actually going to get over that without a problem. No such luck. For anyone keeping score, that log is 2, me 0. least this time I have a regular Camelback. I usually bring as a spare. We had put 4 bottles of water in it from the cooler, and actually put the pack in the cooler itself, which was a lifesaver. All through this race, I kept taking water and kind of spitting it down over my chest and my arms and my legs, trying to cool down a little bit and stay hydrated. Had to wait a second. There was a guy up there that was kind of spinning. You can see how off-camber it is, how everybody keeps sliding on that, and then they slide down the hill, have a hard time getting back up. This time I get up the creek bed a little bit better. Don't run into the other side of the bank. Actually pretty much walk right up it for the most part.
Yeah.
Slid back just a little bit too far right there, and I got my rear tire over a rock. More off-camber logs. Was sitting there waiting my turn, and as soon as I give it some gas, my bike end took off and slid down the hill. I was trying to get further over from this guy, but there was a little rut there that was making me slide down next to him. I was trying to give him as much room as I could. And when I get down here, I see things backed up all the way around this corner. It's a little ravine, it's real rocky, you got to go up here. There's not much room to get by. That was Colton Haker there in the red. He went to try to hop it up on the bank and get around those guys. He got by two, the back end slid down, and he ended up having to pull and tug on his bike a little way. Get up here on the bank above him, and you can see him over on the left. There's really only one single line to get by, right there where they are. kind of patiently waiting my turn. Actually, from where I'm sitting, it drops down into that ravine pretty steep. So I try to start working on getting down into there. Trying to let those fast guys get by that are actually already on their second lap. You see the way the rocks are positioned, it's hard to even get up through there, even for those guys. He finally decides, all right, that's it. I'm lifting the back end up on that rock. There he's got it. I end up having to do the same thing. Same thing, you could only get so far, and then you had to just lift the back end up the other side of that rock. Then it go up without any problem. I should have taken that far right line, but I slid down over that rock, which made it hard to get back up above. So I ended up going next to this rock, which was steeper, and it had a couple drop-offs here, which were a little bit sketchy. That far right would have been much better. That rock doesn't look very big on the video. In real life, it was pretty intimidating, especially being as tired as I was at this point. But I kept watching people hit it time after time, and all they really had to do is get the front end up and have enough momentum. It really just carried the bike up over it. It's probably 3.5 feet high. It's one of those things you got to commit to. Probably the most disappointing thing of this whole video, the whole race that I have, is I go down this hill over here. You can see far off in the background there, everybody turning around at the bottom of this hill climb to get another run at it. And I go over here to the left, take a break, scout out which way to go, and I forgot to turn my GoPro back on when I went up the hill climb. It was probably the highlight of my whole weekend because I was able to actually make up this hill climb on my first try. This is after I made it up to the top, going down the other side. But I do have videos some friends recorded on their iPhone. I just wasn't able to incorporate it on here. This hill is pretty rocky and rough. Several different ledges on it. I kind of zigzag my way back and forth up this one. And kind of looped up around these two big rocks here to the right. I intended to keep going straight there, but it pulled me to the right, so I just kind of did a pivot turn here and got headed back the other direction. The other rider coming up the hill here behind me, we ended up riding back and forth together quite a bit. He almost gets up here and then he flips the bike. I think I catch it here in the video.
Oh shit! Oh. Huh? Oh shit! I'm gonna move up here and I'll get out of your way.
This was sketchy because it was steep, it's off camber, and you had to get up around the end of this log. And once I got up around the end of it, these roots, the way they were, and as steep as it was, I ended up actually walking the bike down this section. I was just afraid of going over the handlebars. There, got stuck on a rock, made me lose my balance. I was actually somewhat standing up, but stuck underneath the bike for a second. It just kind of gives you an idea how steep that was. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully my next one's a little more entertaining. Thank you.